Hello and welcome to Nigeria 2015, our continuing coverage of the general elections. Well, this is the second batch and the final one, as a matter of fact, hopefully, for the elections. The governorship elections holding today, as well as the state houses of assembly. So today is the day where they will decide who will be at the helm of affairs, both at the governorship level and at the state houses of assembly in the next 4 years. Well, yes, indeed. I'm Chamberlain Uso, and I'm not alone here today.
Yes, I'm Gimba Umar, and we're taking you through this since the morning belt when Sulai and his crew started this all, and we're moving from where they have stopped, resuming for the afternoon session. And this is what we know. We have information, though, that there has been some skirmishes and fightings in Akwa Ibom State. Hassan Kama, that's the Commissioner of Police there, confirmed earlier to the early morning belt crew that there has been some arrests made. That's what we know. We will go to our correspondent in Akwa Ibom State much later in the course of the program to find out more details of how this has happened, if people have been killed in the process. I am Gimba Umar.
Well, just to remind you that you can send a comment or two to us here today, Nigeria 2015 at channelcv.com. Or that will be the email address that you can use to get a word to us. You can also tweet at us using any of the Twitter handles. Yes, that's the email address there for you for getting feedback from you today. And as always, don't forget the Twitter handles you'll also get to see in just a moment. Well, it's not all the states that will have elections today, the governorship elections. There are some states where the governorship elections would not hold today, and some of those states are Anambra, Bayelsa, Edo, Ekiti, Kogi, Ondo, and Osun states. Yes, there you have them on the screen there. So 7 of those states will not have governorship elections, but then state houses of assemblies elections will go on in some of them as well today. So even in the states where some of these 7 states is as tense also as you will find in some of the states where elections will hold today.
Indeed, we're looking at the situation very closely, and we will be informing you also on everything that we know and everything that is happening from now until when we have the results announced officially by INEC. In the meantime, though, more information that we're getting is that there have been some upheavals also we recorded in Akwa Ibom State, same place, and the local government area, is it Gamaba?
We'll get to find out.
Get to find out where that place is.
We've got a correspondent there as well, so they will speak to us today. But let's get to a panel of analysts who join us today. Professor Oyelowo is a professor of law, Faculty of Law, University of Lagos, and Channels TV's election consultant. Thank you for coming on again today.
Thank you.
And then Jiti Ogunye makes his return today as well. He's also Channels TV's election consultant. Thank you for coming on also today.
It's my pleasure. Thanks.
Well, let's take a look at what has happened today. Already calls are coming through after accreditation voting starting in some areas. But then there's one thing that just sticks out. First of all, that has to do with the level of turnout. Many have reported in, some of our correspondents saying, look, not exactly as it was with the presidential election. So fewer people turning out for the elections, in spite of those huge figures in some states about the total number of those who were registered, and then, yes, it dropped to those who were eventually able to collect their permanent voter cards. But the results, the figures they see today, it looks as if it's lower than what we've seen previously. Have you noticed that as well, or have you heard any of such?
Well, I think that has been a pattern in the voting, you know, that we've always had in Nigeria. You find out that the presidential elections will always draw the highest number of voter turnout. Then when it gets to the states and House of Assembly elections, either people are fatigued or maybe disenchantment towards local politics. By the time you are looking at who is going to be your representative at the House of Assembly, and they don't particularly know that person who is being presented by the political parties, people get to be a bit disenchanted. So local politics tend to be more local. And that's also the backlash of that, and that because of the intensity of the combatants, the favor to get to that office, it tends to be more violent. And people always have that violence factor chilling their enthusiasm to go out. That why should I go out if there's going to be violence? So you find out that one, because it's local, the potential occurrence of violence chills people's enthusiasm. And then, of course, you have a very crowded field as opposed to the sharp field we had at the presidential election between PDP and APC, the sitting president and the opposition coalition. In this instance, in some states you have as crowded as 5 gubernatorial candidates. I'll be speaking about my state 14. Or your state.
They had 14, we were told yesterday.
Well, 14, but in terms of
the leading ones,
at least you have the incumbent governor, you have Accord Party, you have LP, and then you have PDP, and then you have SDP, and all these are juggernauts, political juggernauts. So it tends to confuse people, and when people are confused, they just say, let some other person decide.
Well, Jiti, he has said that local elections are usually localized. Yes, we understand that. But doesn't that suggest that because it is localized, it should be brought closer to the people, and then, as a result, have more people participate in this? What seems to be the missing link?
Exactly. Because local politics is local, that in itself ought to be a galvanizer of some sort, because they are not looking at a distant candidate who is going to preside over the affairs of the country in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, or be presiding over Nigeria. But they're looking at candidates that they can see, they're looking at people that are going to represent them in the House of Assembly, who's going to pass laws, who's going to pass resolutions that will affect their lives. I think that we must look for other reasons that are responsible for this kind of voters apathy or low voters turnout. What was it? Is it because in the presidential election we had the massive campaign, we had the emotion running high, and so on and so forth, that we had that kind of participation, which was not satisfactory anyway, because there was still a disparity between those who actually voted. We're talking about overall, in the country average, 50% of voters who collected their PVCs, not to talk of the registered voters. So there's first a disparity between the registered voters and the number of those who collected their PVCs, and second, there was a disparity between the number of those who collected their PVC and those who actually voted. And so people have been wondering what could be responsible for this kind of scale down, so to speak. But in this election, from what your correspondents are saying and from what I've seen, where I exercise my right to participate in the franchise, there's a low voters turnout. And so we must find reasons why this is so. Is it for reason of absence of voters' education? I don't think so.
All right, we'll find out, but we need to take a break now. But we'll be back. It's going to be a long haul here today, so don't worry about that. We'll return in just a moment. Join us again.